Welcome to Something to Talk About from the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center. Happy to have you here. I'm Reed Price. I'm the director of the center. We're going to be talking with Heather Berger of Friends of the Farms today about a new innovative program called Share the Harvest. Before we do that, I want to thank Fieldstone Communities of Bainbridge Island for sponsoring Something to Talk About. You're invited to join Fieldstone for a summer bash at Fieldstone Rolling Bay on Thursday, July 31st from 11 to 4. It's a fundraiser for Bainbridge Prepares. They'll have barbecue, fun games, beer, and a wine garden, with the proceeds, as I said, benefiting Bainbridge Prepares. Tickets $10 for adults and $5 for seniors and kids. Come out and show your support at Fieldstone Communities. To learn more, call 206-594-1010. And talking about supporting people who are doing good work, well, we're going to support Heather, who's doing some good work, but also your project is designed to help folks who are doing good work at Helpline. Tell us about this project, please, and how you came to think about why it's necessary.
Thank you, Reed. Thank you so much for inviting us to be here today. So Share the Harvest came about a little over a month ago when we were talking with food banks and we were talking with just other people who serve different populations in our community and with our farmers, and learning that federal and state funding that once supported the food banks and the local farms has been drastically cut. And while we live in a place of abundance, there is still a growing crisis right here in our own community. Food insecurity has doubled in the last 2 years, with over 400 households now relying on the food bank weekly. And the percentage of food that the Helpline Food Bank is providing them could be up to 50% or more of their weekly diets. They serve more than 625 low-income families, and just this spring, 40% of their commodity funding was slashed. And so that's things like peanut butter and jelly, cans of tuna, crates of milk, chicken and pork and eggs, things that are just sort of the staples of a family's diet. And then on the fresh food side of things, the programs that provided over $100,000 annually for the 8 food banks in Kitsap County is going away entirely in 2026. And the money that they have left over in 2025 is just a drop in the bucket for what's needed now. And, you know, Helpline's food bank is still open 4 days a week, but families can only come and shop 1 day a week now because there's so much need and the supply just can't keep up with it. So, you know, when you think about that, these are our neighbors. This is our community. They're seniors. They're seniors on fixed incomes and single parents and kids, people with illnesses and the working poor, and they deserve access to nutritious and appropriate food. And so that was kind of the birth of Share the Harvest. What can we do to respond to this, and how can we play a role and support it?
Yeah, we talked with Leanne at the food bank, the manager of the food bank, a couple of weeks ago, and she was talking about how some of those, direct food distribution was cut off or being cut off. And then this very important program where Helpline is allowed to subsidize farmers in our neighborhood by buying their produce. And that works for both the farmers and obviously for Helpline. And that money, as you just said, is being cut off. So we have sort of 2 communities that are being hurt by this move by the federal government.
Yeah, it's like 2 local crises that are growing, right now, that families can't get the food that they need, and our farmers are losing the revenue that they need to sustain their operations. So we don't want to wait until this becomes insurmountable. I think we're all pretty certain that this is just the beginning, and as time goes on, there's going to become more and more of a need. So how can we get things in place? How can we get as many people as possible thinking about this and, act as a community, because everybody deserves access to, nutritious food. So the goals of Share the Harvest is to improve access to fresh food, to provide stable and fair income to local farms, and to build a stronger community through a shared purpose and participation. And so it's pretty basic and pretty simple, what we're doing. We are taking donations from our community and from other organizations, and we are using that to buy food directly from our local farms, and 100% of that food goes right to the food bank. And we've already partnered with 10 local farms, and I'm very excited. We actually launched last week, and I think I sent you a picture, Reed, of our very first drop off that we did. That's me at Helpline. Our local farmer, Kevin Block from Soul Farms, picked 73 pounds of sugar snap peas, and we were able to buy them with donations, and we dropped them off last week at Helpline. So that was very fun. Really enjoyed that. And this week, we're going to deliver 100 pounds of carrots, 150 pounds of beets, over 400 heads of garlic, 50 cucumbers, 50 bags of kale, many, many pounds of spinach, and butter lettuce. And those are going to come again from Kevin Block, from Farmhouse Organics, and from Winnie Farm here on the island. So then it's just we hope that as donations come in, this will just increase throughout the season when, as things become ready to harvest, like cucumbers and broccoli and squash, beans, tomatoes, corn, and hardy grains.
So how do you identify the farmers and coordinate with them? I know many of them also have obligations. They're CSA farmers. They have customers that they're working with. They serve at the farm at the farmers market, and of course we have farmers all over Kitsap County. So
right, yeah. So we have a database of about 60 farms that are in Bainbridge and North Kitsap that we send out, just information to periodically and connect with. And so I just put a call out to that entire community and said, if you have the capacity, if you have the willingness, to participate in this, we'd love to have you join. And we've heard back from 10 of them so far. And they contact me when they have things that are available, and then I connect with Leanne to make sure there are things that she knows that will be needed on the food bank shelves. And then I arrange a time to meet with them at Helpline House, and I hand over a check to them, and they hand over the produce.
Wonderful. So
Yeah.
you're the primary truck getting from the farms to the. That's very generous of you, Heather.
Well, it's something that it's just so elemental. Like we do and have done a lot of things at Friends of the Farms, but when you think about what, food, shelter, medicine, healthcare, those are just like the most primal things that we all need. And so to be able within, my job and my work, to be able to help do this, even this very small thing, is just so important to me and so important to all of us.
So it sounds like the initial response has been pretty positive from donors.
Yes, it has. I have a list here of all of our partners already. We received a $5,000 community projects grant from Rotary that was immediately matched with another $5,000 from a private donor. The Bainbridge Community Foundation gave us a $2,500 capacity building grant to help us put sort of systems in place so that we could get this program up and running. The City of Bainbridge Island has given us access to their 725 people on their Bainbridge Prepares mailing list. So we're able to reach out to them and broaden sort of the scope of people who know about this in the community. Cedars Unitarian Universalist Church invited me last Sunday, and I spoke about that, and they donated all the money that came in through their offering that day to us. And the Bainbridge Island Fruit Club, I don't know if everybody knows, we have a fruit club here on Bainbridge Island. They sent folks out to the orchard at Johnson Farm, where there's I think there's 15 apple and pear trees, and they were protecting the new fruit with these little booties that they put on it. And then in the fall, they'll harvest all of the fruit and donate that to the Share the Harvest program at the food bank.
Oh,
And then,
wonderful. Yes, we did talk not long ago with John Fawcett and Karen Appenzeller about
yes,
the Veg Club,
yeah, yeah.
related to the Fruit Club.
Yeah, yeah, and Carol has been really helpful too with her Grow a Row project through Bainbridge Prepares, encouraging people in the community to, whatever you have, plant a little bit and, grow it for the food bank for Helpline House, because we really need a whole lot of people to just make sure that nobody falls through the cracks here in Bainbridge.
And if somebody who's listening or watching to this wants to donate, can they go to Friends of the Farms?
Yep, go to friendsofthefarms.org. And if you scroll down on the homepage, you'll see a donate button, and we will take your dollars and we will purchase fresh organic produce like carrots, snap peas, beets, squash, beans, berries directly from farmers. And we are also working with Brian Stahl to purchase a whole pig that he will take and have processed in a couple of months. And then that will get all cut up and frozen. And so it'll be about between 200 and 250 pounds of locally grown organic pork that we'll be able to donate to with your donations.
Great. And so do I need to make any special directive to you when I go online, or are you using basically Friends of the Farm money toward this project?
There is a dedicated place where this money goes. And so when you click on the donate to Share the Harvest, it takes you to a separate PayPal page from our operating funds. So we will keep it all separate, and 100% of the money, less just the credit card fees, will go to purchase this food.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I'm just looking at the homepage right now to make sure that I see the right place. It says go to the homepage. It says farm to table dinner is coming up.
Which we would also love for you to come to our farm to table dinner, which is on Winnie Farm. And it is the place where the time and the place where we do support the operations of our organization, because without that, we can't be here to do these things like this. But if you scroll down on the homepage, you should see Share the Harvest.
And it says locally grown, locally given. Is that the?
Yes. Yeah.
That's the big button.
Yep, the big button.
Big button with apples on it.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that that Leanne is grateful, and it's one more piece of a puzzle that we can all participate in. One of the challenges that you mentioned, or that she mentioned when we talked to her, was the difficulty of getting meat and dairy, because there's not a good distribution point anymore through government programs, and it's expensive on the open market. And so this is a good way to support providing that kind of food.
Yeah, it's really a challenge. One of the things that just struck me was that she said, sometimes and they can't, the only milk that's available to families is just powdered milk. And that just breaks my heart.
Yeah.
We are looking for a place, someplace, reasonably local, so that we could buy milk. Eggs are another thing that are a real challenge. They're kind of a challenge for everybody. Everybody's looking for eggs these days at any price. And so, yeah, eggs and milk are two things that we'd really love to be able to have and are still trying to look at. So if anybody out there in your viewership knows of that, please reach out to me.
Okay, will do. Sheila Kerwin, you have a question or comment?
I have a comment. Heather, I'm just so glad to just know who you are now, because I'm one of those seniors that goes to Helpline, and I was there last week, and they had the raspberries that were locally grown. Oh, and there were lots of them, and I've had them on my cereal every morning. They're absolutely wonderful. So I thank you so much. I'm not sure who did that, but whoever brought this raspberries, and there were plenty of them. And it wasn't Leanne, I don't think, it might have been Leanne who was bringing stuff out. It was just absolutely wonderful. I'm so grateful for the food that you have available for us there, because, and there are a lot of people who I live here with at Winslow Arms who go over there, and we're fortunate to have it, because there are several of us who are financially strapped, and therefore to have that opportunity to go over and to get good food is wonderful, and I'm so grateful. I just want to mention, just on the side, Friends of the Farm, was also Brian Doyle, huh? Do you know the name? Okay.
Don't know the name Brian
Well,
Doyle.
Brian Doyle came, and I know that there was somebody in your organization who sponsored him to come up here to speak. He was a writer, but anyway, that's all right. I just thought I'd bring that out.
It happens to be that Brian Doyle is, if not Sheila's favorite, one of Sheila's very favorite writers. And
Oh yeah,
although he's no longer living, he has left a wonderful legacy of books, both essays and novels. Anyway, if he was supportive of Friends of the Farms, all the better, right?
Exactly, all the better. Well, Sheila, if you're there tomorrow, I believe at 11 o'clock, I'm meeting Kevin Block out there for another delivery. And then at 2 o'clock, I think, yeah, 2 o'clock is when I'm meeting Ann Weber, and there'll be a big bunch of stuff that we're dropping off then. So,
well, and you also dropped off, somebody dropped off just containers, many containers of eggs a couple weeks ago.
Oh, good. I wish that wasn't.
I have
but
one
I'm
of
good.
those, the dozen eggs, and they're wonderful.
Well, I do know that one of the things, I mean, there are just many ways. This is one of the many ways we need to come together to make this
Right.
happen. I do know that that one of the things Leanne shared with us was that there is a family that has been paying for a subscription for regular dairy donations from Smith Brothers to be dropped off at Helpline. So
Yeah.
they're getting some milk that way. But as you said, and as Leanne told us, the need has grown dramatically in the past. And I think that given sort of the climate of our world right now, we can anticipate the need is certainly going to continue to grow.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And
so go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, we just believe so much in the inherent worth and dignity of all people. And this is just something that we just feel like is almost something we have to do.
Well, thank you for responding. Susan Dean.
I just think the wonderful, wonderful work that you're doing. My question is, what about individual gardeners on the island and Kitsap County? Even though they may only have, 3 pounds of squash or whatever, is that invited as well?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You may have 3 pounds and 20 other people may have 3 pounds, and it all adds up. And the food bank is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And they have a drive-through where you can just stop and they can't take eggs from places unless they have the WSDA kind of sticker on them. So that unfortunately is a drawback, because we know how many people there are with eggs on the island. And another thing they really said that they needed is jam. They get a lot of peanut butter, but they don't quite get the jam to go with it. Kids love peanut butter and jelly. But again, it has to be.
It has the jam. It has
to be done in a commercial kitchen. Which is something that I hope that we're going to do later on this year. I want to rent the kitchen, over at Bethany, which is a great place to cook, and get a whole bunch of people in there and just have a day of, a jamming day.
Jamming.
Great idea.
All right. We be jamming. Thank you very much, Heather. I appreciate you coming here to tell us about this.
Thank you.
Friends of the Farms, that's plural. Friendsofthefarms.org is the way that you can donate directly. And you certainly can also donate food from your garden, plant a row, as we talked about earlier. I've got the zucchini growing, but it's not zucchini yet. But, and that's a pretty versatile squash, which we all
Yep.
know. And actually, as long as it's not too big, it's doable to cook with.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. And we will, well, I just want to thank you for doing the work, and we will participate, all of us, I hope.
Thank you so much, all of you.